My name is Tim, and I used to perform by the name DJ Tim X. I'm not really a pilot, but I play one on the internet. Sometimes you may or may not watch me stream as I play my flight simulator game. Well, I've decided to take the leap, and I'm actually going to learn how to fly real airplanes in real life. Again, I'm not really a pilot. What I am is an HVAC technician, and this is what I do in my off time. So these are the chronicles of me learning how to fly an airplane in real life. Well, it is a good rainy day here in Chicagoland. As you all may or may not have realized by now, my name is Tim X, and I'm here to fly a plane. I'm going to take my first official airplane lesson in a real airplane here in a possibly a couple of days. I'll have some pictures and a review and a little briefing about that when we get to it. Today, what I'm going to do is fly a similar plane um, from that airport, and I'm going to practice just doing a takeoff and a go around and a landing. Full stop landing, hopefully after one go around, is my intention. We'll see how it goes. I have my headset, I have my kneeboard, I have my pen, so I'm ready to go here. I'm going to go ahead and strap up here. Let me show you the plane that we're flying. Today we were going to be flying a Cessna 172. It is the most successfully manufactured airplane of all times. In other words, it's the one that has sold the most models. Um, is it the best? I don't know. That's a matter of opinion. We'll get to that later. Right now, what we're here to do is fly. And while we're flying, I know you do not want to stare at my ugly mug. So let us focus on flying the airplane instead. All right. So the first thing I did today, obviously, I removed the chocks, I inspected the tire, I inspected my left flap, and I moved my left aileron around and inspected it. I'm happy with the condition of those. Let's move on. We're going to go ahead and take off the static port cover and the engine covers. And then we're going to inspect this front tire here. Looks pretty good. It's not listed in the inspection, but one thing I would always do is take a good look in here. Make sure there's no bird's nest, mouse nest, nothing like that in there. We'll come around to this side. Do the same with this aileron. Put that back to normal. Check out that flap. Look at that tire. You know, in a video game, this can be kind of boring to do this part, but in real life, this is extremely important. You don't want to risk your life to a vehicle that you haven't really inspected at all. Your life is at stake here. Doors closed and latched. Let's get inside. Now, for the most part, I know the majority of this checklist, right? But because I'm not a dum dum, I am going to do the checklist, right? Just to make sure I didn't forget anything. Let's go back. Go back. And we looked at that. We looked at that. As much of that as I can do, I did. I guess I could have done the oil level, but we'll be okay with that. let's go all the way to here. Brakes. Circuit breakers. I want to take a good look at the circuit breakers. I actually found one popped the other day, which is weird because I wouldn't expect to find a popped circuit breaker in the game, but I found one. And these are all in. They're all in. Okay, so we got that. All our stuff is off. Our electrical is off. Fuel selectors on both. I did double check that already. And the shutoff valve is open. Start the engine with battery. Okay. Throttle to quarter. Mixture to cut off. Stand by. Yeah, so this we make sure that it starts up. Then we turn it on. Then we arm it. We look for engine indications in the X's. No X's over here. Our E bus is 24. Good. M bus should be, but there's nothing there. Amps, negative. For some reason, standby battery's on, yeah. Propeller area is clear. We're gonna go master, alternator, and battery. And then we've got M bus. Duh. Let's turn our beacon on because that would only be polite. Now we can verify we've got the M bus. Okay. Yeah. So the engine is in fact cool. Mixture lever full forward. 3 to 5 seconds. Auxiliary fuel pump off. Ignition switch to start. And then prepare to move that mixture level forward. Now, I have my audio off right now. That way you guys can actually have a chance at hearing me talk. My mixture forward, my oil pressure went up. Amps. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is why. 1, 2. Okay. Low volt's gone. Navigation lights go on. Avionics are now both on. All right, we're done with starting the engine, but we're going to prepare for takeoff. Parking brake is in fact on. Check. Come on. There we go. There it is. Flight controls are free. I checked that already. My instruments, I don't see any right X's. Barometer. Now here's the thing. I don't have an ATIS to call at this airport. However, if I look at my information here, and I click my weather, I can see that my barometer is 2965, which is actually rather low. Okay, made a big difference there. So we'll go back to our checklist. Barometer's good. The standby altimeter needs to be set also. It's this bad boy over here. It's good. Altimeter. Set the target altitude. Okay. 1600. Uh, flight instrument check. Yeah, they look good to me. Standby instruments. Sure, they look good to me. All right. Fuel quantity. Yeah, we got half a tank. Our mixture is full forward. Our fuel selector is on both. Oh, yeah. This is the autopilot test. This is kind of a fun. You got to turn it on. You see it turned itself on here. You don't want to break it. See how it turned itself off? You can't hear the warning because I got the volume off for you, but yeah, that's good. Trim disconnect. Yeah, we heard all that. Flight director, we want it on, don't we? Elevator trim is set. We checked that already. Good. Might be a little too much. There we go. That should be good. Elevator trim, throttle. Let's see if we can take 1800 RPMs. Okay, look, there's an ATR taking off. There's my 1800. Now here's the thing, the magnetos. Check RPM drop, 150 on either magneto, different. I don't understand what this part means. This is one of the things I'm going to have to learn in school here because I'm about to go to school for this. This is one thing I've never understood, so I should not check it. The vacuum gauge is, well, in fact, pulling a vacuum. It sucks as expected. There are no red X's. We have all these values where they need to be right here. We have no error codes. Throttle back to nothing. Set it to around 1,000. Okay, we'll set it to around 1,000. I don't know why you want to be at 1,000, but you want to be at about 1,000. I overshot. We're not using nav frequencies today. We're not doing that. Our transponder is going to go to 1,200. That's a good point. VFR code 1,200. 1200. I'm not even using that. 10% is preferred. And it looks like it takes 2 clicks to get to 10%. 10 degrees. 10 degrees of flaps. Strobe light. Let's get flashing. And release the brakes. Brakes are released. Okay, we're ready. We're ready to taxi. And we're going to close this until we get to the spot. So, Schaumburg traffic, Tango India Mike X-ray 1, taxiing to runway 11. Schaumburg traffic. I guess I should probably turn the audio up so I can hear certain cues, like, the stall horn. Let me get that set up. We're going to take a moment to sit still. Always sit still when you're doing stuff. Go ahead and do a little bit of this. Now, I turned it up in my studio. I did not turn it up in the game. I should probably turn it up in the game also. You guys can hear a little bit of that. And turn it up, but not very loud. There, can you hear that? I hope you can hear that, and I hope you can hear me. Now, I do see a problem already. We are going to have a problem. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. Our brake is on. We're getting out. I did not remove the pitot cover. I'm very, very disappointed with myself. Remove before flight. I got all the other ones. I did not get the pitot cover. I would have had a bit of an issue with that. That would have given me a problem. Okay. Back to taxiing. Here we go. We're on our way to runway 11, facing eastward with a slight northerly point. And we're going to take off into the pattern. And after we get into the pattern, we're going to circle around one time to the left. And my intention is to land again at runway 11. It should take us only a few minutes once we get airborne. It's almost like it takes more time for the checklist to get airborne than it actually does to make the flight we're doing here. It's kind of one of those be prepared before you go. Right, normal takeoff. $70 to 80 knots is my climb speed. Okay, this is critical information to know. And then the flaps will be retracted when we get up there. Not a cruise. We're not doing that cruise, so we're not doing IFR. But we're gonna 2100, 2700 elevator temperature lean as needed. Okay, so we're ready to go. Schaumburg traffic, Tango India Mike X-ray 1, taking off, runway 11 left, closed traffic. Schaumburg traffic. Okay, keep it straight on the runway is almost the hardest part, but the wind is pretty calm today. I did set it to low weather. Airspeed is alive. We are in ground effect, gaining. We are at 72 and climbing. We're going to go ahead and let her take about 600 foot per second up. We don't want to lose any airspeed. Let's go ahead and put it back down a little. One click of flap up. Sorry about that, folks. I knocked my microphone over. We're now getting to our cruise altitude. I'm pulling that throttle back and putting that trim down. All right, we're going to go ahead and start our left-hand turn. Pretty easy turn. We want to go ahead and descend some more because we want to be at about 1600, and we're not. I like to look back and see if I can see the runway. I think I kind of do see that runway over there. I think I see the runway over there. All right, let's go ahead and trim down a little then. Pull a little bit of that speed back. Trim back up. Go ahead and take another left turn and prepare to gain some altitude now. All right. So now we should be flying pretty much perpendicular to the runway that we plan on landing on. We are a little bit low, but honestly, when we do our approach, we want to be at 1300-ish or more. So we're still okay. We're going to get up a little bit. I find it a little easier to drop in from a higher altitude than to skim along the bottom and worry about what you're going to hit. I kind of finally see the speck on the scope as to what we're aiming for. A little more power. Let's see, take a quick peek out that window. I hate looking left out this window because I always tend to lose stability on the aircraft when I do. Now, we are not pointed the direction I want to be pointed. There we go, a little bit further this way. The opposite of runway 11 is runway 29. So my objective here is to fly at 290. I see the airport over there. It's not very obvious. This airport's pretty hard to spot. I've noticed that Schaumburg is a pretty hard to spot airport. It is the closest one to my home, so of course this is where I'm learning how to fly. And yeah. Probably a good thing that I'm focusing on an airport that is harder to find. I see where it's at over there. Let me go ahead and trim down a bit. I'm going to give it one click of flaps while I take my left-hand turn, which is going to be up here pretty soon. I'm going to take a real long final just to assure myself the ability to make it. Now, I'm also going to do the checklist for landing, normal landing. 65 to 75 with my flaps up, not with my flaps up, sorry. 65 to 75. Yeah, I don't know. So 65 is what I'm going to aim for on final. And we're going to go ahead and start that process now. One click of flaps. Schaumburg traffic. Tango India Mike X-ray 1 is turning for left base entry to runway 211. Runway 11. Schaumburg. Now, in real life, and in the simulator, when we take this left-hand turn to go into runway 11, we do in fact go right over a minor league baseball stadium. And I happen to be a season ticket holder to the Schaumburg Boomers because it is a good time. I believe I see the runway because I recognize it. I'm trimming up really hard because it's dropping on me because of these flaps. Let's go ahead and keep the speed up so I don't lose it here. Because when you put the flaps up, you also get that speed up. You also get that speed dropping on you. Schaumburg traffic, Tango India Mike X-ray 1 on final for runway 11 Schaumburg traffic. So you see I got the runway right there. Kind of fighting it a little because of my speed. I'm going to get that trimmed down a bit. Get that power to come off. Get the speed to bleed a little bit. Level off that power. Funny thing is, every time I expect to see the stadium, I don't see the stadium. Oh, I'm starting to see the stadium a little bit now. Now, those aren't really pappy lights, but they are approach lights. And they're actually telling me I'm doing something right here, actually. Now, I want to level off in the ground effect about the time we get over. And then I will power it off. Apply brakes now. Well, that was almost butter. I wasn't perfectly lined up, but I was a little bit off to the right. I think that was not a bad landing. I will give myself a B plus for that one. Schaumburg traffic, Tango India Mike X-ray 1, clear of the runway. Schaumburg. Flaps up. And I only did that with 10 degrees of flaps. And that went rather well. Let's go ahead and park it back at the spot. I guess I should have called out and said that I was taxiing to parking, but as you can tell, there is nobody here. So I'm a park wherever the damn hell I please, right? And that's that. Well, that's how that went. It went pretty darn well, actually. It was just about butter on that landing. I'm not going to give myself the butter reward today because it wasn't perfectly centered on the line where I would have preferred. But it was a perfectly controlled, perfectly safe landing. Much better than I was doing yesterday. That's going to have a lot to do with the wind. There was not much, if any, wind involved today, and that really helped me out. So that's it for today. Hopefully, my next video will be after my first actual flight lesson, my first discovery flight. Have a great day.